All right, so we started with the easier equations so that we could practice the steps so that when we get to the more complicated equations, you're going to know the steps on how to do them. So now we're going to have equations with variables on both sides. So we're still going to divide our equation in half, circle everything that goes with your variable on both sides, and I'm going to put a box around my numbers. The sign goes with whatever it's in front of. So this is a -8. So I need to get my letters on one side and my numbers on the other side. It doesn't really matter which way you go. I'm going to subtract the 2x from both sides just because I know that's going to give me a positive x. So that zeroes out. I'm going to have 8 is equal to 6 minus 2 is 4x, and then I have minus 8. So since I have numbers and numbers, now I need to do the opposite of subtracting 8. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So I do that because that zeroes out. This gives me 16 is equal to 4x. And to get rid of the multiplying by 4, I do the opposite. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So I wind up with x equaling 4x. All right, so for number 2, I'm going to divide my equation in half. I'm going to circle everything that goes with my variable. So I know this is a -2x and a positive 6x. And with my numbers, this is a -10, that the sign goes with whatever it's in front of, and then a positive 14. So I'm going to go ahead and move my -2x. So the opposite of that is to add 2x, because that zeroes out, leaves me with -10, and 6 plus 2 gives me 8x plus the 14. Now I need to get my numbers to the other side. So instead of adding 14, I do the opposite. So I subtract 14 from both sides because that zeroes out. So I have 8x is equal to -24x, or sorry, just -24. To undo multiply, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8, because that's going to leave me with x. And -24 divided by 8 is going to give me a -3. And it doesn't matter if it's written this way or if it's written this way, they're equal. Doesn't matter which side the variable's on. All right, one more, then you're on your own. I'm going to divide my equation in half, circle everything that goes with my variables. I'm going to box in my numbers, so I know these are negative. I'm going to get rid of my 2x, so the opposite is going to be to subtract 2x. I do that because that's going to zero out. I'm going to be left with -3, and 5 minus 2 is going to give me 3x, and then minus 5. So to get my numbers together, I'm going to do the opposite. This is subtracting 5, or -5, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. That becomes 0, and I get 3x is equal to 2. To undo this multiplying by 3, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. I do this because this divides out to give me 1, and x is equal to 2/3. You can write it either way, it doesn't matter. So when we have the variables on both sides, we've got to get them on one side and get the numbers on the other side.